Yo, it's Drizzle. Look, if you're like me, you haven't played Pokemon in a minute. Straight up, the last time I touched a main series game was back in the X and Y days on the 3DS, so it's been a crazy minute. So when I kept seeing this new free-to-play Pokemon Champions game popping up all over my feed, I was like, alright, let me finally jump in and see what all the noise is actually about. Did the hype completely die off after launch, or is this low-key a hidden gem for returning players? Let's break down my raw first impressions, the good, the bad, and if it's actually worth your time. But first, I gotta confess something off rip. Yeah, this game isn't new, at least not anymore. You caught me, I am severely late to the party. I found out Pokemon Champions existed way too late, but can you even blame me? Man, the last time Pokemon was actually relevant in my daily life was peak Pokemon Go era back in 2016. And let's be real, Go's tapping mechanics did not battle the way I was used to or liked. So seeing how this game was promoted as a true turn-based battle experience, I got high hopes for this one. Should be way more up my alley. And right out the gate, that intro cutscene you just saw was gorgeous. We are off to a phenomenal start. Plus, y'all already know me, I am an absolute sucker for any game that lets you create your own self-insert character. The trainer customization is low-key clean, so the vibe is already pretty good. But then I actually jumped into the menus and things got interesting. Actually, I'm getting ahead of myself, because before I could even get to the menus and play around creating a dope Pokemon party, they had me stuck in some pretty long basic dialogue and this absolute baby tutorial fight. Now look, I understand even the old games had something similar to this, but I do not remember it being this handholdy. They are legit telling me which exact attacks to choose and forcing me to switch Pokemon mid-battle. They made sure this first fight, if you can even call it that, was completely idiot-proof. Like bro, let me actually make a decision. I'm out here getting instructed like I've never seen a health bar before. Now I get it, some brand new or younger players probably don't know type matchups that well. They'd probably end up getting themselves cooked using a Fire/Dragon Charizard the entire match just because he looks the coolest in the party. I respect it, but come on. Back in my day, we had to figure it out for ourselves on the good old Game Boy. You got swept by the first gym, you learned your lesson, and you adapted. Honestly, everything in the world has been getting a bit dumbed down now that I think about it. Anyways, it wasn't that big of an issue overall, but if you actually stop to read every single one of these pop-up text boxes, you're gonna be sitting there for a minute, so just be ready to spam that confirm button. That's really my only gripe with this whole intro phase though, because visually, the battle animations look cleaner than I could have ever imagined, and hey, easy or not, I'm never gonna complain about taking a free dub. Now after the game was finally done babying me, guess what they hit me with? More generic story text to read. Yay me. So they sent me over to this breeding farm called Roster Ranch, and man, having the breeder girl look like that, a whole blonde southern belle, they are straight up asking for trouble. The degenerate jokes write themselves, man. Y'all need to chill. Anyway, this is where you actually recruit your Pokemon if you don't have any to import through Pokemon Home, which I obviously do not. Now I heard this recruitment concept was low-key a thing back in the old Pokemon Stadium days, but here's how it works. Every day, you get a lineup of random Pokemon to choose from. You have two main options. You can do a trial recruitment, which lets you rent the Pokemon for free for 7 days to test out, or you can make it permanent using in-game victory points or teammate tickets you earn from missions. If you want to speed up the daily roster timer, you can even drop quick coupons. It's actually a pretty solid system once you get the hang of it. So, looking at my options, I ended up going with this new fire-type Pokemon called Armarouge. Look, he's brand new to me, okay? Leave me alone. I am a Gen 1er and I am proud of it. But come on, look at him. He literally looks like a swaggy, fire-armored version of Mega Man. How could I say no to that? And let's be real, the other starter choices they gave me were pretty generic. As much as I love Pikachu, the cute little guy, I saw Lucario and the classic Charizard, but I needed somebody on my squad that actually looked fresh and unique to start off. And Armarouge was definitely fitting that whole vibe. So welcome to to the team, broski. Really should have told me how much of an absolute beast Armarouge was too, because now it was time to step into my very first ranked match with him and this completely random pre-selected squad the game gave me to fill out the rest of my team. Honestly, those extra fill-ins weren't even necessary, because Armarouge straight up cleaned house. Man soloed this girl's entire team by himself. They gave him a super diverse moveset, and the moment I saw him charge up that little fire cannon, I thought I was gonna wet myself. It looked so clean. Told y'all he was Mega Man too. The only thing I'm low-key not feeling too much is his name, and apparently nicknaming your Pokemon is something you can't even do in this game at all. Now for me personally, nicknaming has never really been my cup of tea on the handhelds anyway, so it doesn't affect me much. I don't know if they let you keep custom nicknames on Pokemon you import from Pokemon Home, but if they do, that might actually give people a solid incentive to import their own roster instead of just using the overpowered recruits. I must have been so dominant in that match that this famous superstar lady and a dude looking straight out of Mucha Lucha pulled up just to congratulate me, and I'll be real with y'all, I still have zero clue who these people are to this day, because I was in full-on MASH mode through most of this part.
Bruh.
Skip the small talk, man. Get me to more battles. I eventually got my wish though, as we are blessed with the privilege of taking on more ranked battles now. Finally free! Oh yeah, and I made a little lineup change in between all that too. So I actually had a Pikachu sitting on my Pokemon Go account that I haven't touched in literally years. I'm talking like, this Pikachu was dang near level 1 when I imported him through Pokemon Home, but something pretty interesting happened when I transferred him over. In Pokemon Champions, you can basically swap moves from a Pokemon's entire move pool right out the gate, TMs and all. You don't have to wait around for them to level up or learn moves naturally. Well, mainly because there aren't even Pokemon levels in this game at all, which honestly I kinda miss. The leveling grind was a classic part of the formula, but here it's strictly built for instant battle prep. Anyway, when I imported my Pikachu, he only knew Thunder Shock and Growl, which literally made him ineligible to battle. See, despite having a massive catalog of moves to pick from, some of the super weak, low quality moves aren't even coded into the game. I guess they just didn't bother making animations for stuff like Growl, since this is supposed to be a competitive VGC style platform anyway. I mean, the sweats on here would most likely just ignore those garbage moves anyway, unless they were a weird creator like me who actually likes taking on goofy challenges like that. But speaking of competition, look, I'm not the most competitive guy in almost any game. I'm trying to change that though. I actually want to see what it feels like to be one of those super cracked, no-lifer competitive players for once. But anyways, as you can clearly see from a lot of this footage right here, I am absolutely dominating. Somebody who hasn't touched Pokemon in years and has zero competitive experience is out here running through ranked matches when I'm severely late to the game too? Yeah, something is definitely fishy here. I have a huge suspicion I'm just facing bots because there's just no way. Unless, maybe I'm just not giving myself enough credit. I might actually be him for real. It's official, don't even challenge me to this game unless you want to get completely stomped out. But nah, on a serious note, I think this game could be a lot of fun, especially if you set up custom challenges. I don't mean those sweaty, hyper-calculated challenges that hardcore competitive Pokemon heads give themselves either. Nah, twin, I was thinking of seeing how far I could climb the ranked ladder with an all-Pikachu squad. Think about it, Pikachu can learn so many different elemental moves, grass, water, fighting, fairy, giving him crazy coverage. Now, I know his defensive stats are garbage and he's far from the strongest Pokemon in the game, but it would be hilarious. It'd basically be a spammy Ash Ketchum run. Imagine jumping into a ranked match and your opponent pulls up with 6 identical Pikachus throwing out Surf, Play Rough, and Thunderbolt. That's top tier content right there, and I might just have to pull the trigger on that for a future video. Now, while I'm out here having a decent time kicking it as a casual returning player, if you take a scroll through the Pokemon Champions community on Twitter or Reddit, the vibe is definitely mixed. A lot of long-time competitive heads and casual fans have some pretty loud complaints about the state of the game. First off, people are calling out the monetization slop. Since it's free to play, they allegedly locked a bunch of stuff behind victory points, teammate tickets, and battle passes. Sounds like if you're a new player who doesn't have an old Pokemon home library full of competitive mons ready to import, but I guess unlocking a full meta-relevant squad takes a serious amount of grinding or dropping real cash on tickets. Second, the visuals and presentation. While I personally loved that intro sequence, guess I might be alone on that. A lot of players feel like the in-game UI feels cheap, the battle arenas look a bit lifeless, and the overall game engine feels more like a stripped-down simulator built for esports rather than a full, polished console title. I kinda see it when you compare it to like Pokemon Coliseum like years and years ago. But then there's the Showdown versus Champions debate. Hardcore competitive players have been using free browser simulators like Pokemon Showdown for over a decade to test teams instantly. So when the Pokemon company dropped an official battle sim that charges you for currencies and limits your daily recruits, a lot of the hardcore VGC crowd felt like it was just a corporate cash grab, according to what I read online. Plus, with the game now live on iOS and Android alongside the Switch, cross-play matchmaking has been a double-edged sword. They're telling me you're either stomping low-level mobile players who just downloaded the app, or getting completely obliterated by day one Switch sweats running maxed Mega Evolution teams. At the end of the day, Pokemon Champions isn't terrible. It looks like a super convenient way to jump in and throw hands if you just want to battle. But if you're expecting a deep RPG experience or a totally clean competitive platform without paywalls, you might leave a little disappointed. What do y'all think though? Do you even still play this thing, or did the hype fall off for a reason? Drop your thoughts down below, hit that like button, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.